Hello patrons, welcome back. Welcome especially to all of the brand new patrons. There's a lot of you. Welcome to the club. One of us, one of us. It's a very debauched experience, as you can see here in my office. Very debauched, very depraved, etc. So, first thing we need to address is this pin. So for those of you who haven't seen the former patron Q&A videos, someone asked what my favorite funeral or death-related food was. And I said the obvious answer, which is Mormon funeral potatoes, which is a dish made of potatoes and cheese, and how can you go wrong with that combination? And popular in the Mormon death community. And I found out that there was even, for the Salt Lake City 2002 Olympic Games, one of their pins, one of their things that showed what the true essence of Salt Lake City was a container of Mormon funeral potatoes. And I talked about that, and Amanda, shout out to Amanda, sent me a original 2002 Salt Lake funeral potato pin. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a tray of Mormon funeral potatoes with the Olympic insignia over it. It's so weird, and I love it. Thank you, Amanda. So I'm gonna answer a couple questions, and then there's this thing that I almost thought I was gonna make a video about, but I decided it might not be quite enough to hang my hat on this for a video, so I'm gonna kind of go through it with you because it's so funny. So a couple questions. First of all, Claire asked, do you think you'll ever get a new cat? Or do you have one that just doesn't like the spotlight? This was very funny to me because I cannot conceive of having a secret cat. Like, if I were to get a new cat, that cat would be an internet cat. That cat would be part of the death revolution. That cat would be a working cat. That cat would work for its food. It would be Instagrammed. It would be YouTubed. We do not have space in this home for cats not pulling their weight. I'm joking, sort of. The reason that I haven't gotten a new cat is because I travel so much, and I was starting to travel a lot even when my last cat, the Meow RIP, was still alive. And fortunately I had people who were able to take care of her, but now that I travel so much and so often for talks or for book tours or whatever it is, or for research for books, until I have a more steady partner who lives here, or someone in the building who really wants to stay here, or just some situation where a cat could live here, I'm probably not gonna get a new cat. But yeah, the cat before this imaginary new cat was so good on camera, and the reason that I like that is because it made people feel so much better about the hard topic that is death. And they loved her, and they made them feel better, and it was like an entry point for people. Like, oh, what a cute kitty, you're talking about decomposition? So I would want that for a new cat as well. That was a really long answer, I'm sorry. Heather asked which video has been the most popular and / the most controversial. So most popular just by numbers is the video about what happens to hip implants, knee implants, and breast implants when you go into the cremation machine. And I think that the reason that that's most popular is that it got picked up by a lot of places, including the Daily Mail, which is such a weird thing, but there you go. Controversial, there hasn't been one that's been like the standout, most controversial, like Jerry Falwell coming after me or whatever, but I think it's just when the videos fall into the wrong hands. And by the wrong hands, I just mean people who have no idea what I'm trying to do, no idea what death positivity is, have never had a frank, open conversation about death in their entire lives, and they see the video and they're just like, what is going on here? And actually that happens more often when like BuzzFeed releases a video with me in it, or TED releases a video with me in it, and they're like, they can't handle it and they lose their minds. But people who actually watch my videos regularly get it, they get what I'm doing, and it's fine. It's usually not that controversial. Weirdly, because I'm talking about like necrophilia and coffin births and all these things. So the thing that I wanted to read to you today, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's from a magazine called Funeral Business Advisor magazine. And I have several friends in the industry or in the academic part of this industry that love reading this magazine. And this was actually sent to me by my friend Amy, who runs a green funeral home in New York. And it's called Burial Vaults. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Wait, it gets better. So burial vaults, if you don't know, are the big concrete or metal contraptions that go over the casket underground. And the reason that they exist is, in my opinion, to give the funeral industry and the cemetery industry something else to sell to families. And they also exist to keep the ground level, so it's a lot easier for cemeteries to landscape. So basically, you as a family are paying for a burial vault to supplement their landscaping costs. And the way that they have sold this to families is that it's protection for your mother. Do you want your mother just to be sent to the worms? Do you want her just to be devoured down there by rain and wind and cold? Don't you want her protected in this big metal vault? So this is a guy who wrote this, Wayne Stelmach, who is the director of marketing at a burial vault company. Surprise. When Aristotle philosophized that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, he certainly was not talking about burial vaults. But when you consider the principles underlying Aristotle's thinking, it actually does apply, and it's important to the families you serve. So the premise of this article is connecting Aristotle and burial vaults. It goes on. Let's first take the purely functional aspect of a burial vault, which is to prevent the gravesite from settling and to protect the contents from intrusion of water, insects, and other natural elements. So they kind of admit, like, that's the interesting thing about it. It's not like they're trying to hide what the burial vaults do. They tell you what the burial vaults do. It's just families are so, people just they don't give them an option. They have to get it. And that's kind of the benefit of the natural burial cemetery, is that you're not required to buy one of these big vaults. Then something that he talks about is the potential of the burial vault is even greater when other components are used to create a meaningful experience. So I think he's talking about, he's going back to Aristotle here, and how there's all these different very important components of the burial vault, including the carapace provides a blank slate for the creative expression of love, memories, and tribute to the person whose life is being commemorated. The steel, plastic, and canvas and materials used in the construction. Yet when they all align to deliver an experience for the family, who could disagree the whole is so much greater than the sum of these particular parts? So what he's saying is that when you bring in the steel, the plastic, the canvas, and whatever crap you have like spray painted or etched on the top of the burial vault, is not the sum of the parts so much greater. I just love it because his thesis is Aristotle, so he just keeps bringing back this ridiculous premise to Aristotle. Parts aligning to produce a product far superior to any singular component. The product becomes part of the committal service. Families interacting to build an enduring experience is powerful synergy and is Aristotle's theory at work when it pertains to the burial vault. Okay, bro. Okay, and then here's, we're gonna lead up to the powerful finish here. While Aristotle was not thinking about burial vaults when he reflected and wrote about objects and human interaction with him, you think Aristotle was not, can you prove Aristotle wasn't thinking about burial vaults? Perhaps Aristotle would have been quite at home with the ritual of commitment service and the integration of various components, including the burial vault, to create a greater experience. But that's purely conjecture. So Wayne Stelmach, director of marketing at the Burial Vault Company, admits that it's purely conjecture that Aristotle would have loved the burial vault's place in modern funeral service. But anyway, so that was a little esoteric, I thought, for a whole video, but I thought you guys might like it because I read it and I was just like, this is bonkers. Okay, cool. So that's what I had planned for the video today. That's what we got going on. Send me more questions or write the questions in the comments below on this video. Tell me if you liked what I just did there. Do you want me to kind of chit chat about things? Really, I'm just kind of setting aside, 20 to 30 minutes every month to just talk to you guys and make whatever kind of video you want as patrons. I think you guys probably want it like this. You don't want it to be like the videos I already make because you've seen it all, you've seen the Dog and Pony Show, and you want this just kind of me chatting with you more casually. We talked about me making Mormon food and funeral potatoes. I'm a terrible cook, but I don't know, I'm gonna give it a try. The worst that can happen is I end up with a baked potato and cheese dish to enjoy, which I'm okay with. Anyway, welcome all you new patrons. I'm really, really glad you're here and really grateful the documentary is happening, which is so exciting. You guys are the best. You're the best. Thank you for supporting Death Positivity. All right, funeral potato pin out. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. Look at it, it's so beautiful.